So once you see this URL, it's just a combination of different pieces of information. We can actually reconstruct this URL such that certain piece of information can be replaced. For example, you can replace the Apple's ticker symbol with another stock's ticker symbol. You can replace the start date with another different date. So by doing that, by making those particular piece of information being a parameter instead of a static name or date, you can change the parameter as you wish and access the information you wanted. So to do that, I will copy and paste this URL and try to separate it into several pieces so you can see clearly what I mean here. Alright, so basically here I separate this entire URL into several pieces, okay? And this first piece, I'm going to use quotation marks to cover this piece. This is the base URL, okay? And once you have this quotation mark included at the beginning and the end, this becomes a string, okay? This entire base URL becomes a string. All right, and we have another several piece of strings. So for all the strings, I wanna have them included in a pair of quotation marks, so I know they are strings. Okay, and those strings, like this one, question mark token equals. This is a kind of a marker or indicator. Okay, basically once the API sees this marker, it knows that the information following this marker is going to be the API key. Okay, and for this marker, and start underscore date equals, this marker basically tells again the API what follows after this piece of information is going to be the start date. It's going to be the exact date you want the trading data. Okay, and this again, the end underscore date equals, right? This marker tells the API that the information following this marker is going to be the date, the end date for my trading data. Okay, so which is this piece. All right, so I have those markers or base URLs included in a pair of quotation marks. They shouldn't be changed. Okay, they are part of a integral structure of this URL, and you shouldn't change any of them. Okay, however, those I haven't included in quotation marks are information that you can change. Okay, for example, this is gonna be the ticker symbol. You can change to another one, for example, Tesla. Okay, your API key, well, you can use your personal one, or you may have several accounts which have different keys, so you can replace this key with another one. Okay, and this starting date, you don't necessarily need to use this January 1st, 2023. You can use a different date, so you can change this as well. The end date, the same story, you can change to a different date. Okay, so for those not included in quotation marks, those are what we call parameters. You can change. Okay, so I'm going to rename this parameter. Instead of just call it Apple, I'm going to call it stock symbol. Okay, and for this, I'm going to call it API key. For the starting date, instead of giving a specific date, I'm going to call it a parameter, and this parameter has a name, start date. And again, this date for the ending date, I'm going to call it end date. It's another parameter. So in this way, I basically redefined the stock symbol, the API key, the start date and end date as what we call parameters. You can change the contents of those parameters. So you can access different stocks, you can access different dates, you can use different API keys. Okay. So now those symbols, those parameters needs to be connected with the rest of the URL. Okay. So the rest of the URL are already included in quotation marks as strings. So I want to connect this first piece of string with this parameter. Okay. So they should be connected with a ampersand sign. Okay. And following this parameter, stock symbol parameter, again, I'm going to use the ampersand sign. So I can connect this stock symbol with another string, which is this piece of string. Okay. So this piece of string is going to be again connected with the next parameter, the API key. And following that API key is going to be another string, which is this start date equal marker. All right. And following this marker, I'm going to connect it to this start date parameter. And following start date parameter, I'm going to again use the ampersand sign to connect it with this marker, the end date marker. Okay. Then the end date marker is going to be connected again using this ampersand sign to this last parameter, the end date. So now this entire URL is reconstructed using using parameters and strings. Okay. And the parameters and strings are connected using this ampersand sign. That's kind of just a grammar you have to follow. Okay. The strings and the parameters has to be connected using this ampersand sign. Okay.